This is Paul. Yeah. Now, just reading this, yes. Computer-aided tools can enable auditors to capture and analyze big data in real time. Yeah. And then there's this fraud faster, and heading off problems before they can grow. Yeah. Why do I feel like problems are growing? And I've told you about fraud, and you said, well, we're not going to enforce the laws. Now, the coordinating of plans and schedules with other insurance providers, yeah. There's strategic and audit plans, as well as establishing close working relationships with the assurance providers, internal control specialists, risk management functions, and external auditors. Yes. Now, these external auditors, you can invite guest auditors from other parts of the organization. Yeah. I just want to know the auditors of each and every county court system of the United States of America. And then there are the auditors that we could invite into the county to find out why it is the sheriff doesn't enforce the laws. Yeah. And then there's the auditing of the police departments, the FBI, Homeland Security, Child Protective Services, yes, Child Support Services, welfare, Pooch. Those that are oaths of office that are employed that said they would support and defend the Constitution. Yeah. And then there's that Judge Advocate General of the United States military, where you have a large number of employees that call themselves lawyers that belong to bar associations. Yes. Maybe we need some independent auditors to go through their actual work and what they've been doing for the military. Now, it's been said that a lot of the military does involve the auditing of those that are our employees. Yeah. Why don't you get me every lawyer in the Judge Advocate General's division of each and every branch of the United States military that they haven't been audited for a while? Pooch. I'd like to get a copy of all the briefs that they filed. Yes, all the work that they've done. Pooch. You know, being an attorney in the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, the Marines, the National Guard, and the Coast Guard, yeah, as well as Homeland Security. The Federal Bureau of Investigation, yes. Child Protective Services, Child Support Services, the federal government's various departments that have cabinet secretaries, yes. Why don't we do some auditing of each and every attorney in the federal government? I'd like to see what they've been working on, exactly how much they've been paid for the work that they've been doing. Now, I know, how can I obligate the government to have to spend the necessary resources so as to control the excess spending of employing attorneys that don't do effective thing because they don't think they're liable? The internal audit function could be helpful. The for cause unemployment of every attorney in the military that said, you're not cutting my hair, poach. I'm not involving myself in civilian civil rights violations. Yes. I'm not going to involve myself in kidnapping, poach. The abuse and exploitation of children. Yeah. Now, we should clarify the actual performance goals of those that are attorneys in each branch of the United States military. Let's just pull out their job description or their enlistment paperwork or when they first joined the bar of their choice after graduating from law school. Let's look at what we've been getting for the amount of spending that's been going on. I think, there should be some sort of criteria. Yes. Now, maybe the military has some auditors that really haven't been doing anything, the independent auditors of the United States military. The independent, the not independent auditors of the United States military. What do you say we call and find out exactly how much does it cost to go through the actual files of every attorney in the United States military for the last 20 years? Yes. That retired and thought, I'm owed that pension. I worked for the Army for 20 years. Or those that were employees of the Navy that said, I'm getting a pension because I was a lawyer in the United States Navy. Now, I'm thinking that this quick polling results of how often does your audit committee meet in executive session with the chief audit executive without the presence of the actual management known as generals, admirals, and commanding officers. Let's do some roundtables, okay? You know, these roundtables where you don't invite the general, the 1 to 4 stars. You don't invite the commanding officer. You sit around with an audit committee and you meet with the executives that have the command structure of the attorneys in the United States military. And you talk about your goals. You talk about the expenses of having you as employees. You talk about the military's life and culture and the importance of being there every day and making sure that you get that law work done as fast as you can. I think there's a large amount of waste in the military. And for every attorney right now, let's find out how much it costs to employ one of these auditors. Yes, to do some roundtable discussions with every attorney in the United States military. Yes, and those that retired in the last 20 years that got themselves a good corporate job because of their military experience right now. Now I'm a little upset. Military hasn't been involving themselves in the enforcement of the civil rights of American citizens. Okay. Now I haven't gotten any phone calls. All right. I'd like to speak to my sons, and I'd like to employ a large number, an army of auditors to spend that special time with every employee of the military right now.